If you are under the age of 18 and you are watching this video, please stop now. This content is not intended for you. Hey everybody, it's Tamika, and I posted these cute little reusable zipper pouches on my Instagram. I did like a little Instagram TV, and so many people wanted a tutorial. I was trying to write out like, oh, search this, then do this, then add this. So people are like, I can't do it, just do the tutorial, please. So I'm going to do a tutorial. Now this is great, which is what I'm doing them for, is back to school. So if your kids have to go physically back to school, these are great to, the ones I want to show you today, not these specifically ones because I'm going to use a different material that can be reusable, and great for kids going back to school, and then they can actually clamp them on their backpacks or their tote bags or what have you, and then boom, the mask is on the inside. Now this is my mask, so this is an adult female size mask, and I did jean material on the outside, and then I did a lining. Now this jean material is a little bit heavy, so I wouldn't suggest using this. And then the inside is lined as well, and it has the convenience of being a zipper, and then also there's a little jewel at the bottom for some fanciness, and then here is the little clasp that the person can hang it on their backpack or whatever. So that's the idea behind it. Now this one belongs to Kyla. This is faux leather, and then again the same zipper. She has a little charm on the end, and then she has lining on the inside, polka dot, and then hers is a kid's girl's mask size. I'll put the mask pattern free PDF down below in the description box for all the sizes, men, women, and children. And then she has a Minnie Mouse mask with the same lining on the inside. So this is the one that I made for her. But then I thought for school, I mean, you wash these out. You're supposed to wash these out every day, the mask, and hang to dry. So that's why they have several. But when they're when you use them, they get recontaminated. So I've decided to make them for my nieces, but I'm going to use a different type of fabric that'll be easier for them to be able to spray down or wipe down with some Clorox wipes, and then of course wash the mask and hang to dry, because this is cloth, so you have to wash this too as well. So instead, what I'm going to use is, and these are the items that you're going to need, is this type of, it's like lunch bag fabric. I don't know, it's in the utility section at Joann's. It's like windbreaker fabric, very inexpensive. I was making lunch bags. I made lunch bags last year, and this is the fabric that I use for the inside. You can wipe this down with the Clorox. So this is what I'm going to use for the inside of my lining for the case. And then I'm going to use this material, which is the faux leather. I have so much of it. You could still, again, wipe this down. When the kids get back from school, wipe it down and you're done. And then for the mask, or the fabric that I'm just going to use today, because I have a good lot of it, I'm going to use this Minion fabric. It was on clearance at Joann's a while ago, and I picked up a yard of it. So I'm going to make my nieces this fabric, and then I'm going to use some yellow fabric, light. Both of these are cotton lightweight fabrics, so they got to have them on all day. So I'm going to use both of these. This is the outside, and this is going to be the lining of the mask. So you will need that. So what I'm going to do is, oh, and of course you'll need your elastic, and then you'll need your pattern, whatever pattern you're going to use. I print off all mine and keep them. So I'm going to use the kids pattern, and again, the links will be down below in the description box. I do have a video on how to make masks using Dollar Tree items. I will put that link down below in the description box. But for this one, I kind of wanted to put everything in one video. So this is what you're going to need so far. So I'll go over the remaining items when we get to the second part of the video. So of course, you want to go ahead and cut out 2 pieces of fabric in your main fabric, and then 2 pieces of fabric in your lining fabric. So do that and come back. Alright, so I have both of mine cut out twice here. So I'm going to start with my lining fabric, and the only thing you want to do is of course separate it. You can't tell here because it looks exactly the same. So you're going to fold it inside and put right sides together. So you're just going to flip it. Alright, line it up and then pin it together. Now if you have those clips that does not you know, put a hole in your fabric, then by all means use that, or you can use paper clips if you like, but this will be fine. So I'm going to do the same thing to this one. All right, you're going to take it to your sewing machine, or you're going to hand sew, and you're just going to sew right around the curve here, and you're going to sew right around the curve here. So do that and then come back. You're going to use a 1/4 inch seam allowance. All right, once you have sewn those together, we're going to open them up, and then this is the right side, obviously. So push that forward. We're going to put right sides together, which means pattern sides, or the sides that you want to show. We're going to put right sides together and match up the seams at the top, and then you're going to pin it or use your clips, and then you're going to follow it all the way along until the lining ends with your pin. Just going to use, I'll make sure that's lined up. Use one pin right there, and then I'm going to do the other side. All right, you're going to take it to your sewing machine, and you're going to follow stitching all along the lining part. So you're going to stitch all this section right there to stop. So from here to here, you're just going to sew, follow along the top, and then we're going to do the same thing to the bottom. All right, I have that stitched right at the top, so I'm going to flip it to the opposite side, and I'm going to line up the bottoms and the seams, get those together, and then again line up, line up this end here, and make sure everything is nice and straight. Line up this end, and then I'm going to sew end to end at the bottom. Alright, this is how your mask should look so far. So the next thing we're going to do is flip this inside out, or right side out. Make sure you poke out everything at top and bottom. And then what I like to do, I do go over my mask with the top stitch just to give it a little bit more stability, but you don't have to, and it just kind of keeps it its form. So the first thing that I'm going to do is take it over to the iron and make sure all of this is nice and pressed out, and then I'll go over the top and the bottom with just another stitch. So I'm going to iron this and then top stitch just the same places that I did the lining. Alright, so the mask has been ironed and it has been top stitched. Like I said, it just helps it to be a little bit more stable, and then that is just super cute. So now we're just going to fold over our ends. So this pattern allows for wide elastic, which I like to cut so I can fold over my end and be a little bit neater. So that's what I do. I have a thinner elastic for the kids' masks, but I do also have wide elastic as well. This is a 1/4 inch. So I want to fold this over, and if you haven't, the ability to iron, go ahead and iron. I'm going to fold in my corners first, fold over once, and then meet it to the lining, just like so. And then we're going to stitch down this long line. I'm going to be a little neater, of course, but I'm going to do it again. So I'm just going to tuck in this corner, just like so, fold it over, and then I'm going to fold it over one more time. And then I'm going to take it to the sewing machine and stitch down that end. Alright, that's all done and fold it over. So the next thing that I'm going to do, or the last thing that I'm going to do, is I have some elastic here. You may want to measure how long you want your elastic to be for whoever's going to wear it. I just have this cut at 20 inches for the kids, and like I said, this is for my nieces, so they're not here with me. If it's too long, I just did that without even talking about it. You put your elastic, we're going to thread it through the hole. That's why I like the larger hole. It goes quicker without any hesitation. Pull it through, swing it over to this side, and pull it through to the end. And what I was saying is they're not here, so if it's too long, they can adjust it and tie it themselves, cut it off and tie it. So this should be enough though, but I want to make this even. And what I'm going to do with this one is just tie this in a knot. You can feel free to sew this on the machine back and forth if you're sure this is the size that you need. And again, I just cut mine at 20. This probably is a little bit too long, but when they get it, it's going to go over their heads, top and bottom like this. You can feed this elastic through this hole when you're done. It's wide enough, and hide it. That way you don't see it. And then your mask is done. So if this is too, this is going to be a lot because it's still a lot of stretch. If it's too much, again, you just pull it, have them tie it in a knot, or have somebody tie it in a knot and cut off the extra. Really easy. So the mask part is done. So we're going to move over to the reusable pouch that they're going to clip on their backpacks. Okay, so for the second part of this video, to make the pouch, you're going to need a CD or a circle. This is 4.5 inches, so it's just easier for me to trace the CD. You're going to need a zipper, of course, not longer than that. I use these Dollar Tree. When these are on in the Dollar Tree, I grab these little folders here, and then when I need a zipper, I just take the top off. So that's what I did there. I've done that a few times. You're going to need 2 pieces of your lining, 2 pieces of your fabric, and 2 pieces of interfacing. This is lightweight fusible interfacing, meaning you can iron it on, cut out in this circle. So 6 pieces should be cut out when we come back. Alright, so I have cut all my panels out at the same time so that I could try to ensure the best possible accuracy. I'm going to set 1 pretty fabric, which is my outer fabric, 1 lining, and 1 interface aside. And then I'm going to go ahead and interface this lining here just to make it a little bit more sturdy. Not sure how these two will work together, but I'm going to cover it with some cardstock so I can try to not melt any of the fabric. So I'm going to do that, and I'll be back. Okay, so I have that interfaced. Adds a little bit more stability to that fabric. And then what we're going to do is fold our pieces in half. Just try to get it as half, you know, as even as possible. And give that a little crease. And then we're going to cut it in half. Alright, we're going to do it to that piece, and then we're also going to do it to this piece. So then we have both of these halves. Okay, so then we're going to take our zipper. We're going to take the pretty fabric, the main fabric. We're going to line it up at the top, facing down at the top of the zipper. And then we're going to take one of our lining pieces, and then we're going to face that up so that the pretty sides are facing each other, and line them up as best as possible at the top of the zipper. So you should have 3 pieces lined up. Alright, I found these little bull nose clips to kind of help me out. So just make it as even as possible. And then we're going to run a running stitch right down, or stitch right to the top here to secure all these 3 pieces together. Alright, so that's stitched at the top. On all the pieces are together. So what we want to do is open it up, push the zipper off to the left, and I'm going to just kind of press this fabric down to line up with the bottom down here. Okay, I'm going to give that a clip. Again, we want this to be as even as possible. And hold those together. And then we're going to pull this just a bit, kind of crease it, and give it a top stitch right along this top edge. Alright, we have that top stitch down. That's what it looks like on the back. Alright, so what we want to do now is line do the same thing we did to this side. So we're going to take our pretty piece, we're going to line it up, and we want to try to align it with this so that the circle would look complete. And then the back side as well, this should be facing up. This is your lining piece. So pretty sides are together in between the zipper. I'm going to use these same clips here and clip them together. Alright, once you have them clipped, you just kind of want to open it up to see if it's in the general vicinity of being a circle. So that's close enough for me. Now you want to take it over to the sewing machine and do the same thing, stitch at the top of the zipper. Alright, so this is what you should have again. So we're going to close these up so it'll look like this. And then again, we want to line these up best as possible so we can create our top stitch. So I just kind of pull that so that they all kind of match together. So you want to pull that and do a top stitch right along the top. Alright, so that's been top stitched. That's the front and that's back, looking even. So what we're going to work on now is our little zipper pull. So if you're going to use a D-ring or you're going to use your clasp, you want to go ahead and get that out. You're going to need a little piece of fabric. So this is just cut. I just used leftovers. This is about 5 inches by 2. You don't need this much because you just need a little bit. You just need a little bit. So I'll show you how to do that. So you're going to grab your iron. Okay, got my little pad here. And then what I'm going to do is fold it in half. You're going to make the little pull so it can be nice and sturdy. Fold it in half and give it a press. Okay, we want that little crease. And then we want to open it up and then meet this end to the center on one side and meet the other end to the center on the other side. And I like to press that down. Alright, and then we're going to fold that whole center piece, fold that whole thing in half and press that down. Alright, now you should have this flat piece. Now we're going to take it over to the sewing machine and sew that closure piece down. You could do it on both sides if you want, so it could be even. Sew on the left and sew on the right. Alright, this is what you should have. Just a nice flat piece. So pick a side. I'm going to pick this side. It has a little bit more of the yellow. We're going to fold it in half like this. Alright. You're going to grab your ring and put it in the center there. So whichever side you want. So like I said, I want the yellow side to sew. And we won't need this much, definitely. I think I might just cut it off to about right there. But you want to decide what end you want it on. So this is obviously the top half. This will be the zipper side. Or do you want it hanging at the opposite end? So you can have zipper on one end and then it can hang like that. So to be one at one end and one at the other. Like a little dangle. Or both at the same end. So I'm going to have one at the opposite end. So I'm going to pull it just enough and then I'm going to secure it right across the top. So I want just a little bit and then I'm just going to secure it a couple stitches right across here. Alright, so I've secured my clasp. So that's how much is going to be kind of hanging over the end. Not very much. We're going to cut all this extra off in a minute. So I want to pull the zipper to the middle because we're moving on to our final part here. Want to grab your other 3 pieces, your lining, your pretty fabric, and your what is this? Fuse interface. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and iron this interface to my lining. Alright, so that's on there. Alright, I'm not worried about the overage, just going to be cut off. So make sure your zipper pull is in the center. Make sure your zipper is in the center. If your zipper doesn't have the ends here, like I said, I pulled mine off of something I already had it attached. Go ahead and take it to your sewing machine and just kind of put a couple stitches right here to kind of hold everything together so your zipper's not wonky when you're sewing it. But I'm okay with where it is right now. It'll stay closed because it has this end on here. But I'll do it to show you what it looks like. So that's what that looks like. I just a couple stitches right across to kind of keep everything closed, and you don't lose your zipper as well. Okay, so zipper in the middle, metal clasp in the middle. Then we're going to take our pretty fabric and we're going to face it down, and then that's the outer fabric. We're going to face that down, and then we're going to face this up. This is the lining fabric, face up. Obviously the bottom half is a little bit bigger, so we're going to stitch around this part to save as much fabric as we can. And you might want to grab yourself a couple clips to kind of hold everything in place while you do this. So go ahead and do a stitch. Make sure you back stitch over your zippers all around the edge and come back. Alright, so this is how you should be looking right about now. So what I'm going to do is I did want to point out, you can see it's darker over here. Went over the zippers quite a few times, so make sure that those stay. And I'm just going to cut off the extra pretty close to where that edge is, all the way around, cutting off the zippers, extras, and everything that's all around it that we don't need. Just reducing this bulk. Be sure not to cut into, don't snip into your seams. Alright, so that's what we have, a little round pad. And we want to just pull that zipper back a bit and turn it right side out. You want to take your finger, kind of go around the seams, poke those out, especially if you have this kind of thick fabric like I have. Make sure you get the full circle. There's your lining, and then there's your zipper and your little pull. Super easy. And then my niece's name begins with a T, so I have a little T charm just to make it, you know, a little extra festive, and then it just helps with this little zipper pull since it's such a tiny zipper. So I'm just going to clasp that on there. And then she has a little T at the bottom. Just poke this out a little bit. There we go. Done. Cute. And then we just take our little mask, a little minion mask, fold that up. Remember, that's wipeable with a disinfectant wipe. Put the mask in there. Plenty of room. And zip that down. And she can clasp this on her backpack or what have you. You can even personalize it if you want. So that's it, guys. That's that one. Of course, we had this one, and then I did the Minnie Mouse one as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial, learned from it. I hope that those of you that requested it, watch it and make one of your own. Please like this video, share, and leave a comment and let me know what, if you have little ones in school, are they hybrid? Are they going online 100%? Are they going into the building? Will you be making these? So let me know. Leave that comment down below. All right, I will talk to you guys later. Bye.